Hey, hello everybody. So nice to have an opportunity to be together with you today. We're going to be talking about reflux in babies and how you can deal with it, how you can reduce the crying and distress and stress that comes from having a baby with reflux. So we're going to talk about what it is, what some of the symptoms are, what body language you can look out for in your baby to see if that's what they're suffering with, how to deal with it so you can enjoy less crying. So I'm Roya. I've helped hundreds of families over the years understand their baby better. I help parents to read their baby's body language so that they can respond appropriately to their baby's needs and wants. And I help parents to teach their babies other ways of communicating, other tools, so that they don't have to cry. And this means that everybody can be more calm, less stress in your house. And it also means that you have room to teach your baby your heritage languages, because we're a multilingual family and I love to help multilingual families raise successful third culture kids. So reflux, what is it? Well, reflux usually happens when your baby's food goes down their food pipe and then back up again. And it happens because the food pipe, see if I can pronounce it properly, the esophagus has not fully developed yet. There's a valve at the top that should close, like food should go in and then the valve should close and keep the food down. But what's happening is that valve is not fully developed yet. Excuse me. So the valve doesn't close, and so the food is able to come back up with stomach acids, and that's very uncomfortable. You can imagine for your baby that there's some burning involved, it's hurting, it's making your baby cry. Now this will go away on its own as your baby's esophagus develops. So usually around 1 year old, this should stop. Okay, but that's a long time to be dealing with it, because your baby can be dealing with reflux from just a few weeks old. So how can you find out if that's what they're struggling with, and how can you deal with it? Well, reflux usually starts before 8 weeks old. And how can you tell that your 8-week-old or newborn baby, even 3 weeks old, is having problems with reflux? First of all, there's lots of crying after feeds. Your baby might seem to be in discomfort and having belly cramps. They might be holding their hands closed. Generally when newborn babies' hands are closed, they're in pain, or they have some discomfort, or they are overtired. What you're looking for in a happy, relaxed, well baby is their hands open like this, whether they're awake or especially when they're sleeping. But if they're sitting with their hands closed up, tense, it means something's going on, and you need to look at it and find out what it is. A very common symptom of reflux is bringing up milk or spitting up. That's what we call spitting up. And all babies spit up once in a while, but if your baby is often spitting up after a feed, then that's a good sign that they have reflux. Another symptom is they might be coughing a lot or hiccuping after a feed. So look out for those signals. Another thing is that your baby might not be relaxed while feeding, might be quite unsettled, moving around, uncomfortable. It's not a peaceful feed. Lots of swallowing or gulping, anything around that area. And it could happen that your baby isn't gaining weight the way that you're expecting because they're not keeping enough food down. Although that's a bit more extreme, but it can happen. So those are the things to look out for in your baby. Some of it is body language, and other of it, it's spitting up is a symptom. So we're talking about reflux in babies and how to help them so that you can enjoy less crying at home. Hello, somebody's there with us now. So things that you can do to ease reflux. Generally, a baby doesn't need a doctor. It's a thing that just happens and your baby will grow out of it. Do ask for help. So ask other mums, your own mum, health visitor, midwife. Do ask around, because with community, mums share suggestions and tips. That way you can get advice. You can think about changing your feeding position for your baby. So it could be a good idea to talk to a lactation consultant, but I can give you a couple of tips now. Our first baby had reflux and it was quite difficult. So I have baby Sophie here today to demonstrate. Say hello, baby Sophie. No, baby Sophie's not feeling well because she's got reflux. So when feeding the baby, the classic thing is to feed them quite horizontal, right? Hold them like that. But you could consider for nursing to have your baby sitting on a cushion on your knee this way, so that gravity is keeping the milk down. Yeah, think about keeping the milk down. So baby's feeding in this position here. If you're uncomfortable sitting straight up, you can lean back on some cushions, and then you've got gravity also helping your baby stay on your belly and not slide off. It's a bit more comfortable, a bit more relaxed. And then when baby is finished nursing, or if you have a bottle baby, same thing, keep the baby sitting up while they're feeding and not laying down flat. When baby's finished their feed, keep them upright. So on your shoulder for a while, lots of burping. It might be useful to do frequent burping. So feed a little bit, and then if they're not settled, they're popping off, not drinking, then burp them. Lots of burping is important, and then keeping them upright. This way is good. Another way that's really lovely, if you notice that they seem really in pain, and they're crying from pain, then you can hold them like this. Okay, I'm going to stand up so you can see. Something like this, holding on under here, because that puts pressure on their belly, keep them a little bit upright, so gravity's helping. And this pressure on the baby's belly is sometimes really comforting for a painful belly or cramps. So that's a way to help your baby that's struggling with reflux. Okay, I have a list, so I'm consulting my list. Keep your baby upright during feeding and for as long as possible after feeding. Formula-fed babies can have smaller feeds more often. And then another advice for baby sleep is that having them on their belly or on their side could be uncomfortable for their little bellies. Now that's the advice generally anyway, isn't it, right now, is that the baby should sleep flat on their back. Now I've done some research for this topic, and the advice is not to elevate their mattress. Now that's something that I did with my first child. I let him sleep just a little bit like this, rather than being completely flat. I put a cushion under his mattress so he was sleeping like that. That's not advised by the NHS, for example. That's the National Health Service in the UK. They say don't do that. However, see what you can do, how you can prioritise what's best for your family. We did do that, but I was sleeping, I was close. I did that when I was close to my baby. He was right next to me. He was sleeping next to me, and I had my eyes on him. So it could be an option to help with the gravity thing, keeping the milk down, but do that carefully, huh? Safe sleep is important. You don't need to change your diet or anything like that. Now, if things are not getting better, do see a doctor, of course. Now, if your baby gets reflux for the first time after they're around 6 months old, that's also probably a good idea to get a doctor to check it out. And if they're older than 1 year old, because by 1 year old, that valve in the esophagus should have developed, and then it should be closing nicely, and everything should be staying down with less pain and discomfort. But if they're still feeling unwell after a year old, then you can also talk to a doctor. And to do with weight, not gaining weight, but I'm sure you have somebody following you, helping you with that. So yeah, those are some things to do with a reflux. Are you feeling a bit better now, baby Sophie? Yeah, she is. Some babies who have reflux are given a special formula, a formula treatment that's like a thicker formula that helps it to stay down. So that's something that you might be advised by your doctor. And very, very rarely they might suggest surgery to strengthen those muscles. But hopefully, most of the time, babies don't need anything like that. This is one of those things that will pass. This too shall pass, Mama. So we can't stop the crying completely for reflux because you've got a baby with pain, a painful belly. But there are lots of tips. Those are things that you can do to improve the situation. So I hope that you found this helpful today. Don't forget that this is a Facebook Live right now, but I'm going to share it on my YouTube channel. So if you're joining us on YouTube, hello! Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so that you always get the newest video. And also make sure that down below you find the link, babysignlanguagecourse.com. Make sure you sign up there because you get your free guide to getting started with infant communication, which will help you to focus on your baby and focus on better communication with them, which will help you to bond. It will mean you can enjoy less crying, and you can be the calm, confident parent you want to be and have space to teach them your heritage languages. So, get a lot more support with all of those things by being part of the email gang. Also, you'll get an invitation next time I open the course because we have an entire online course and the International Baby Club. Are you going to come and join our club? So many beautiful things. Okay, see you next week.